Hi, my name is Frank, and I'm the Tea Time Traveler. This video I'm going to talk about, I'm not going to talk about cars, like fixing them and stuff like that, like I did in the last couple of videos and stuff like that, how to transfer them and everything like that. I'm going to talk about having a hurricane. I went across Canada because of the pandemic 2 years ago, and when I drove across, I bought an old truck with put a canopy on the back of it and drove across the country. Took about 2 weeks to get across. The weather was okay. It was mad most of the time all the way there. Drove around Newfoundland. The main city is called St. John's. So I sold my car in St. John's and I decided, okay, I'm going to camp. So I found this campground in the city of St. John's, or just on the outskirts of it. And it was all of a sudden in the news, they're telling me that there's a hurricane coming. And I have never been in a hurricane before. So I got a little tent sitting in this campground, and I thought, well, Jesus, I don't think I should stay in a tent. I'll probably get blown away. So, and they were also doing everything like securing places and trying to set up things so they wouldn't blow away and all that kind of stuff. So I searched everywhere in town, and the hotels were all full because everybody was booking in hotels. So I finally found one, and the hurricane's coming in, right? So it hit at night. I can't remember exactly what time it was. Probably around 9 o'clock or something, or 10 o'clock at night. It started really coming in pretty heavy, and the trees were blowing down, and the power went out in the hotel. So it was actually cold and waning, but it was okay. The hotel was okay. Now, the next morning I got up, and there was trees and things all over the hurricane there. So I thought, well, what am I going to do now, right? And I don't think I can go back to the campground. Well, I phoned up the campground, and apparently a lot of trees have fallen and people left, so it wasn't very good to go there. Still, the hotels were quite full and booked up and expensive because of this. And so I thought, well, what am I going to do now? So I decided to rent myself a van and stay in the van. So, well, everybody's renting vehicles, so there was no vehicles. I'm looking everywhere. I finally found this company that rents vehicles so you can move and stuff like that. So they're bigger vans. I'll show you a picture of it. But anyway, they're bigger vans. So I got one, and it was actually quite nice. It had a leather mat floor so that you could put stuff on it, and but it was perfect. So I drove it to the community center. The university had a gym, a community center, a pool, everything in there. So I parked outside the front, and nobody bothered you because you've got the rental name all over the side of the vehicle. So it's kind of normal, right? So people just kind of left you alone. So I stayed there, and I'd get up in the morning, I'd go to the gym, I'd have my exercise, everything would be great, and have my shower or whatever, and I'd go into the city and check the city out. The only problem with this van is it's quite expensive on the fuel, and the fuel is a V8, which adds up pretty quick. You do 10 kilometers, it's $6.50 or $6.30, and so on, stuff like that. So I didn't do a lot of driving. I drive here and there maybe to get some food or whatever. Most of the time I would take the bus or just walk, or take a bicycle if I can find a bicycle. And I had a bicycle actually, and I was riding around. I threw it away actually. I left it at a mall. I just rode it, went to the mall, parked the bicycle. It was starting to fall apart on me anyway, and then I just left it, and then somebody, I guess, picked it up. So that was okay too. And the van was really good. I bought a sleeping bag, so I stepped in there with a sleeping bag, and I just get up in the morning, go to the gym, have what you needed, right? It was actually quite nice. I don't even know why I was tenting. This was so much easier. You don't even have to build anything. You just go in the back, and it's huge. It's like you could probably sleep about 8 people in there. So, I got a little thing you can plug into the ashtray, just a van sitting on the side of the road. So I never got anybody even ask me any questions, right? and actually it was really good. And the next whole day, it was better than going to the campground because the wind was wicked. There was just palming and then some rain. It was quite a storm, a hurricane. I'd never been in a hurricane before, so this actually was a godsend. It was like, oh, what are you going to do? You can't tent. Hotels were, I think the cheapest one I found was $89 or $95. And after I had it for 4 days, and for 4 days driving it with the extra insurance on it, the fuel, the kilometers and the fuel, and all that kind of stuff added up to $120, and that meant I spent $30 a day. That was actually cheaper than the campground. The campground was $32 a day, and $37 if you want electricity. So this was, and you have transportation. And I just parked it on the outskirts of the town and hopped on the bus, and Bob's your uncle. I went right into town, no problem at all. So as for a situation like that, you arrive in a strange city or something, and they need a vehicle. I couldn't find a van, like a little minivan or something like that, because all of them were taken. So I rented or hired, whatever you want to call it, this van, and it was great. It worked out perfect. I mean, I should have done it before. I don't even need to go to the campground, and the rest of the day is yours. It was a perfect system. And for a hurricane, trying to survive a hurricane out there, I got outside there, and the wind was, you should have seen the trees. I'll try and show you some pictures, but it was like crazy. So a van, and this is not like your, normal rental car, rent a van kind of thing. These are for like movers and stuff like that. They're bigger. And so, there's a deal with the company. You pay $19.95 a day. That's the rent. Then everything else is on top of that. Like I said, the mileage or the kilometers and the fuel. The only problem, like I said, these are V8s, so they go through a little bit of fuel. But I didn't do a lot of driving. I did a lot of busing. It made things easier too, because you could once you found out where you were and organize that, it was great. So there you go. So here I'm going to do is pick one of the places I've been again. So another place I've been here. Okay, what's this place called? Morocco. Oh, story about Morocco. Morocco's kind of cool, but I was in Gibraltar, and I took a ferry from Gibraltar across to the other side to North Africa and Morocco to Tangiers, and it was not that long, probably about 2.5 hour ferry or something like that. I think it's 22 miles, or I don't know, something to that effect. I got there, and it was like crazy. They had about 300 people on the ferry, and they had like literally, I think, 2 people or 1 person stamping your passports. So they would take one, stamp the passport, take the other, stamp the passport. So the lineups were crazy. They just packed with people, and the people in there, they were selling things. They were trying to sell you, I don't know, pots and pans and carpets and whatever else. I'm thinking, no, it's okay. So I don't know how to get out of the it's in the harbor, so there's like a guard they have to get out. So they had a bunch of young kids, 16-year-olds, 15-year-olds, and they come up and go, I show you a good time, make sure everything okay. You come with me, I show you this, I show you that. Well, that's kind of, you're kind of skeptical because you don't know exactly what they really want. Influence. Anyway, I didn't understand what he was saying. I did get the idea, though. They were trying to negotiate how much money I'm supposed to pay to get out of the dock. So I had an argument with the taxi driver after that. He leaves. I go into the hotel, and then I'm gonna have another problem. The person's trying to ask me all these different things. You need this, you need that. What do you do? Where are you going with this? And Morocco, this Tangiers is like I've never seen a place like that. It's all these little aisle roads, and there's no straight. You can't get around. It's like walking through little pathways. It's just amazing, and you get lost in a minute, and that's what the kids going to try. Oh, you go here, but then I heard reports they take you into some store or something like that. And they try and sell you carpets or whatever, So I was trying to ignore those kids that were hassling me, or asking me for money, baksheesh. But I went in there, and that was in the town. It was like, actually I enjoyed it, but it was I found it really. You had to watch yourself a little bit, trying in a way, but it was kind of cool. It's kind of hard to say, kind of cool, not so cool. It was an experience, put it that way. And since I've been to several countries already, I do have feelings, I go on the premise when you're traveling that if something you don't feel comfortable with, don't do it. Doesn't matter how good it is or what it is, just don't do it. So a lot of times when people were approaching me to do something or sell me something or show me around, I didn't feel comfortable with them, that was it. I wouldn't do it. So getting in the dock, then getting into the ferry and the lineup of people and people pushing and shoving, and there was two young English guys in front of me when I was sitting there, and another guy, I'm not too sure, he was from America or something like that. He's saying to him, just push, get these guys out of the way because they're all coming up to you. I take your passport, I get a stamp for you. Well, you can't give them your passport. You give them your passport, you'll never probably see your passport again. Maybe the locals give them the passport, but if you're a foreigner, don't give them the passport. And all they do is push in the front of the line so that you can get the stamp on your passport so you can get on the ferry. So we're all waiting there, and this guy is trying to sell us some pots and pans, and the little American guy there, he was like, what are the wrong with these guys? They want to sell. I don't want pots and pans. What am I going to do? What do they want? My shoes? And the guy's looking at his shoes. He wants to take his shoes off. He wants to trade the pots for his shoes. And the guy's going, no, get away from me. I'm going, no, it's just we'll get through here. It looks like everybody's in the same boat. Anyway, that's my trip to Morocco, and I'll do another one on the next trip. And I hope. If you get stuck in a hurricane, rent a van. Okay, take it easy. Bye.